This is my Sig Sauer P365 xmacro. In my previous video about my Smith & Wesson, I mentioned that I was replacing my old concealed carry. This was my old concealed carry. And I guess technically for the next couple days while I wait for my holster to arrive and I test the new firearm, it will continue to be. Should be a few weeks before that is fully set. But there's no rush. This particular model doesn't seem to have any issues. The reason I am switching my concealed carry is because Smith & Wesson seems to be a little more reliable. Sig Sauer has had some issues with their P320 line, and in good faith, the way they have responded to that, I can no longer suggest that people carry Sig Sauer firearms, because if something was to happen, I don't know if they would tell us. I don't know if they detected a fault in one of their models, if they would let us know and do the appropriate recall or fix, or let third-party companies know so that they can put a fix out. So I just think that it is probably better to switch to a firearms manufacturer that you trust a little more, and Smith & Wesson seems to fall under that category for me. There are other reliable companies. I believe that Glock is great. I am not a Glock shooter. I don't particularly like the way it feels in my hand. I don't like the way how blocky it feels. Some of the parts feel a little cheap, like the magazine release and the slide stop. They feel kind of cheap to me on Glocks. So this is not to hate on Glocks. This is a video talking about this particular concealed carry and what it has meant to me throughout the years. So this is something that I have picked up a few years ago, and it has worked great for me. Its accuracy is very, very good. It allows me to shoot very, very rapidly if I need to, without losing, center mass hits or A-zone hits, as you would call them. So you can get pretty good groupings, even at distance. And I don't do a ton of distance shooting with my concealed carries, but I do sometimes practice out to 50 yards with them. I think it's important to be able to make a long-range hit if you have to. So let's talk about it for a second. So the first thing we're going to do is check to see that it's safe. There is no round in the chamber. We'll do a visual inspection. You can see no round. And then we'll do a physical inspection. No round. And I'm going to drop the slide, point the gun in a safe direction, pull the trigger, no round in the chamber. All right, now that we know it is safe, I'm going to put it back down. The magazine that we're using today is empty. There is nothing in the mag well. So here it is in all of its glory, the P365 xmacro. We'll start with the basics. P365 xmacro is a fire control unit style striker fire firearm. Fire control unit, what that means is that there is a serialized part on the inside that connects to the trigger and the frame of the gun that allows you to swap it out at will to any frame that you would like, and it will remain as the serialized part, so you can order to your heart's content any frame that you would like online, deliver it straight to your house, and you can pop the FCU, fire control unit, out of your current firearm into the new frame. Voila, you have a new gun that would be just as good as buying an entirely new Glock or an entirely new Smith & Wesson. You will still need a slide and a barrel. Sometimes that slide and barrel will fit from the old one to the new one, depending on what frame you got. There's a lot of variations on this. With this, I believe that the xmacro is unique so that an original P365 will not fit on this frame for their slide, but the FCU will fit in any of them. So as long as you get a slide and a barrel, they will fit. My frame, as you can see, is not a stock xmacro frame. This is from a company called MadTech. MadTech makes custom frames. They're kind of simplistic. They don't have things like an Icarus frame would, where you can add weights into the grip. which is kind of nice, but I didn't particularly feel the need for any added weight on this. So I just went with MadTech because they allow you to customize the design. And you can see it's kind of this Rubik cubed design on the side here. I liked that. But the thing that I liked the most is that on the smallest palm well here, it is almost entirely flat on either side. And I really like that. My goal was to try to get this feeling as close to a 1911 style grip as possible. The angle is very, very, very good. So the only real difference between this and the 1911 is that you don't have as much, I guess, landscape for your grip. But as you can see, I don't have a problem getting my pinky around this. I have pretty small hands, so somebody with larger hands might end up looking more like this, where you are sticking, but you can buy magwells that can go onto the end of the grip that will extend it just a little bit. So if you do have larger hands, you'll be able to accommodate that with a magwell, which will also allow you to reload the magazine faster. And I think that is a good investment if you have larger hands. I think it's also a good investment if you plan on doing a lot of reload practicing. But the MadTech grip does have a very good magwell. You can reload kind of at an angle. I'm trying to get a good image of this. See, it's angled, but if I just push, it goes in. That didn't require a lot of force. It kind of was weird because I'm not used to reloading upside down, but it does go in at a slight angle as opposed to something like my Smith & Wesson that I'm currently trying out, where you basically have to align it flawlessly for it to go in. I'll have to fix that by putting a magwell on the Smith & Wesson. The frame on the MadTech grip is very textured. You get to pick like the design and where the texture is stippled. On this one, you only get stippling. Technically, this is stippled, but it feels smooth. Like from this portion to here, you don't actually feel any like raised bumps at all. It feels perfectly smooth. But these are very aggressively textured. So when you're trying to get a good grasp on the frame, you can see that the places where your hand is going to be in the most, very, very covered with the aggressive texture. And then this hand, obviously, you're going to be wrapped around, so you're just pinching, and then this thumb on the gas pedal. So that is my MadTech frame. The FCU is completely unchanged in this configuration. This is the only addition. I swapped out the trigger, which attaches to the bottom of the FCU, and this is an M-Carbo flat face trigger. And what is unique about the M-Carbo trigger is it has the set screw in the back. You can see right there. All you do is you've got a little screwdriver. It might even be an Allen key. I can't remember when I installed it, but you just tighten it a little bit. And what it does is it crisps up the reset. So I will rack the slide for the reset. So here's the trigger pull, safe direction. You can see the take-up's pretty mushy, and that's because of the FCU design. You're basically always going to have a mushy take-up on a P320 or a 365. The M-Carbo doesn't mitigate that. What it mitigates is the reset. So here's the take-up, here's the trigger pull, and then if we do a reset, here's the reset. It's a little crisper than the original stock 365 reset. You can hear it, you can feel it. It's a little faster. This trigger is not like a forced reset trigger or a binary trigger. It does not increase the speed at which the firearm shoots. What it does is it changes how the reset feels so that you can shoot in a smoother, more fluid, I guess, speed is a way you could call it, but it doesn't increase the fire rate of the firearm. Another upgrade that we have on this. So we're done with the FCU, we're done with the frame, but we have this. This is an antimatter micro wing. This is the gas pedal. It is attached to a TLR7 sub Streamlight Lite. There is another option for the X300. The X300 is a little too large for the P365. It would come out to about here, which, you know, I guess some people like. I don't think that's particularly useful on this model. But the wing, what this does, you can see it replaces out this little portion of the light, and it has this folding mechanism. And so you can fold it up all the way and create this flush thing that folds out when unholstered. So let's say we were holstered, you can draw and it will fold out. And that way you've already got your grip because you're drawing. This folds out, perfect place to put your thumb, and now you've got the perfect grip and you've got recoil mitigation. I think this is really good. It's very intuitive for new shooters. They would understand how to use it almost immediately. It teaches proper grip placement, but it also mitigates recoil, which is nice, especially when you already have the mitigated recoil from the port. I think that's valuable. So that's something that I really wish I could put on my new conceal carry. It does not currently fit. I'm going to have to figure out something for the takedown lever on the Smith & Wesson, but you can get similar products. They just will be in a different position, made by a different company. This is a Sig Sauer Romeo X. It is a 3 MOA optic. It is possibly my favorite optic that I've ever fired. It is modeled after the M17 Romeo, which is an optic that Sig Sauer made specifically for the 320 for the military use. Looks super durable. It had one of the lowest profile attachment points, so that you, with standard sights, you could co-witness. That's not something that's common on very many optics these days. There's a few companies that make them, but not to the same durability that the M17 optic would. So the Romeo X is modeled after that. It doesn't have the same durability, it doesn't have the same features. It's not an enclosed sight, though you can get an enclosed sight model for about $100 more. It works great. 3 MOA gives you good accuracy at range and close up, and the buttons are tactile. When you press them, you can hear them be pressed, you can feel them. There's no mistaking whether or not a button has been pressed or not. The battery compartment on the side is a wheel-based battery compartment. It's not like the Holosuns that require you to get a screwdriver out and pull a little tray out, almost like a SIM card tray on a phone. This is more a twist, insert sideways, twist, and there's a battery back in. Works really well, and I've had zero issues with it. It doesn't come loose when you're shooting. It remains zeroed. I think you could bang this thing on cement and it would probably remain zeroed. That is my old concealed carry P365. Again, I have nothing but positive experiences with this. I really wish Sig had handled this in a way that made me feel comfortable continuing to carry it. But I don't think that I'm going to have any issues switching over to Smith & Wesson. They are so close in size. I believe the Smith & Wesson comes out to about here. On the barrel length, it's slightly longer. The nice thing is that the Smith & Wesson doesn't have this sharpened beaver tail. It's not sharp, like you're not going to hurt yourself, but because it does stick out like that and isn't flush with the back end of the frame, or the slide, I should say, this portion of the beaver tail, when holstered, I don't know if you can see this, but this little pointy part is jabbing into you all day long if you're concealing this in your appendix, and anytime you go to sit down, it jabs you in the stomach. So that's not great. I got used to it. It didn't really affect me because I had a lower dropped holster, Incog X from Safariland. I got the same holster for the Smith & Wesson. Should be totally fine. But I feel like it's going to be a little more comfortable than this xmacro. So maybe that's an improvement. Maybe that's a reason enough to switch. Who knows? So if you have any questions about this, or any other questions I didn't cover, drop a comment and I will try to respond to it and let you guys know whatever you guys come up with. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.